starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping the news, more trouble in the tropics as another power storm. This time, Hurricane Maria prepares to make its way up the chain and could affect the Bahamas by the weekend. And as the country watches the tropics and continue to monitor these new developments, the Christian community is turning its focus to God, giving thanks for being spared the brunt of Hurricane Irma and asking for his continued protection. Megan Shepard has our top story.
This Thursday, the Grand Bahama Christian Council is inviting all churches, praise team, choirs, and residents at large to a special service of prayer, praise, and thanksgiving to thank God for sparing the island from the monstrous Hurricane Irma. President Pastor Peter Pinder says this service will also serve as a way to look out for our brothers and sisters.
As we give thanks, we will demonstrate our support for our sisters and brothers affected by the tornadoes in Grand Bahama and Bimini, as well as those in the southern Bahamas whose homes were devastated by Hurricane Irma. We have set a target of $50,000 as our goal. Each church is requested to give $500.
First Vice President Pastor Robert Lockhart notes that the Bahamas is located in the hurricane belt, and as a result, storms will always be a part of life in the country. He says we are in the height of hurricane season and we must continue to seek God's protection.
We're going to face hurricanes probably for the next couple of months, and I think every year we're going to face hurricanes. And as they come, we're going to continue to pray, and as God answers our prayers, we're going to continue to give him thanks. And even the times when hurricanes do affect us, we're going to still look to God to bring us through them and for us to pull together as people. So our key is, as we seek God for his protection, and we know that he's come through on our behalf, we want to give him thanks, not looking to the future to say, oh, something bad might happen, but realizing that God is good. And I believe as we give him thanks, we continue to procure his continuous protection.
Second Vice President Apostle Anthony Grant notes the power of prayer.
Our president had called for prayer time on the Wednesday before the hurricane, and it's fitting now that we have a time of celebration, a time of thanksgiving for how God has spared us, and to also continue to pray for those in the southern Bahamas who have been affected terribly by this hurricane.
The service will be held at the Community at Heart Tabernacle Church of God Prophecy on Call Road at 7:30 p.m. on Thursday. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
In other news, the Bahamas Telecommunications Company doing its part to help foster a sense of normalcy among tornado victims here on Grand Bahama. The telecommunications giant reaching deep to provide assistance to those who sustained damage following the storm. Kimberly Mullings has more.
Our Grand Bahama is leading the way again, highlighting relief efforts for Hurricane Irma victims in partnership with Head Knowles, BTC, and the Red Cross. As founder of RGB, Kayleen Newton says, you can never predict devastation, but you can always be ready to mobilize relief efforts immediately. And they are doing just that.
Our partners, Head Knowles, who is the epitome of hurricane relief and preparedness, has streamlined efforts in the past 2 years to ensure the people who are helped are pinpointed and those needs are given to them as much as possible. Our Grand Bahama is able to mobilize quickly through the virtual assistance of Head Knowles by leveraging their partnership and membership power to assist our partners, which are the Red Cross. Further, OGB connected with the Red Cross after Hurricane Matthew, and those efforts continue again after Hurricane Irma.
The drop-off zones for non-perishable food items, clothing, and water would be at BTC's Piper Manor and Piners Way locations and the local Red Cross. Eldridge Ferguson Mackey, Customer Experience Vice President for NASA on the Family Island, says there is something special about our Grand Bahama and Head Knowles' quick response, which started from last year. Without a doubt, BTC was pleased to come on board.
The teams got together and they said we need to do something and we need to act quickly. And one thing I'd like to commend the team on is they thought it, and it actually came into fruition. Persons are asked to drop off clothing, food, any non-perishable items so that those items can be gathered by head, nose, and crew and our Grand Bahama and the volunteers that are working to carry them off to individuals that are impacted. The efforts, of course, are going to be focused on persons that are impacted in Grand Bahama and also individuals that are impacted in Bimini.
Given that there is a BTC on every island, Rock and Key in the Bahamas, Ferguson Mackey says other BTC managers and franchise partners are looking to assist their communities as well.
A lot of our country managers and leads in the other family islands said, well, why can't we do it at our location? So they've also spurred and began a partnership with the local Red Cross on those islands. So we're going to use the resources that we have. There's a BTC everywhere. And it's BTC every day. So we're going to use the resources that we have to provide some assistance as well.
The VP says at a time like this, we are reminded to be our brother's keeper. If you would like to be a volunteer, feel free to visit our Grand Bahamas Facebook page for more information. Kimberly Mullings, SADNAS Network News.
Switching gears now, the Road Traffic Department rolled out a new system earlier this year to enhance and modernize its operations. But since then, many vehicles on Grand Bahama could be seen traversing the streets without license plates due to a lack of stock. Now tonight, the controller of the Road Traffic Department says there is good news. He notes that the license plates are now in stock and should be picked up immediately from the local department.
Those persons are registered with a GR plate, a GD plate, and the bonded plates. So they can go in now. We have all of those plates and they are up to date.
Now he says the road traffic officials are working with police officials and notify them about the plates being on island. Hence he says persons who do not pick up their license plates could be ticketed by police.
We've told them, you know, that we have the plates, they need to come in and get their plates.
And if they don't,
then they should suffer the consequences of their action. That is, everyone should be booked, right, because the plates are here. And I've been working feverishly to make sure we go over the barrier, and we have done that.
In news from the crime beat, several persons arraigned before the court on shop breaking and other related charges. Justin Zonical, 25, and Kizzy Thompson, age 38, both of Emerald Drive, were charged before Magistrate Rankin Johnson on 5 counts of shop breaking and 2 counts of receiving. Zonical pled guilty to all charges. Thompson pled not guilty. Thompson matters will be adjourned to late November, while matters involving Justin Zonical were adjourned to tomorrow for sentencing. Meantime, Kizzy Thompson was remanded to the Department of Correctional Services in New Providence. Akimio Johnson, 23, of Gladstone Terrace, a juvenile, along with 19-year-old Clarice Cawley of Grassmere Terrace and Danny Roll, 22, of Pinehurst Loop, were all arraigned before Deputy Chief Magistrate Debbie Ferguson on 1 count of shop breaking and stealing and 1 count of receiving. Now, they pled not guilty and were remanded to the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services until February for trial. A Grand Bahama man was taken into custody for possession of dangerous drugs. Reports say that on Saturday, shortly after 12 p.m., officers of the Central Detective Unit, while in the area of Weddell Avenue, stopped a 2009 Toyota Yaris vehicle for a traffic violation, and during that stop uncovered a quantity of suspected marijuana. Now, the male driver, Freeport resident, is expected to be formally arraigned before the magistrate court this week. Meanwhile, police over on the island of Bimini arresting 3 males for possession of firearm and ammunition. Reports say gunshots rang out shortly after 12 a.m. on Sunday. Police officers, while on mobile patrol in North Bimini, observed the 3 men, that is, in the area of a business establishment who pulled out a firearm, discharged the weapon, and ran. Officers gave chase and arrested all 3 suspects in the area of the marina. Officers also uncovered a .45 pistol with a magazine containing 2 live rounds of .45 ammunition. The 3 suspects are expected to be formally charged later this week. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, continues in just a moment.